from a small village in Cape Breton. And as with most kids growing up, if someone was trying to figure out who I was, they would ask me a question. What is that question? You guys are bang on. Great job. Who is your father? So I would tell them that I was Bernie and Joan Viscount's son, David. When you meet someone for the first time, you usually offer personal information to that person so that they can kind of get to know you, to get a sense of who you are. You might tell them what you do for a living. That's usually, a start. You might tell them where you live. You might tell them originally where you're from. For instance, I am from Cape Breton. You might even share your family situation, whether you are married or single, whether you have children or even grandchildren. But context is necessary, particularly when we first meet someone. It is within our relationships, like family and work, our neighborhood, our parish, our colleagues, that our identity is found in those relationships. Our identity is found in our relationships. I am a husband. I am a father. I am a brother. I am a son. I am a friend, again, a colleague, and a neighbor. So when people ask me, who's your father, they want to know my identity. They want to know who I am. And in that case, I offered that I am Bernie and Joan Viscount's son, David. A fun fact about my own particular situation: my last name is Viscount. My father's family immigrated from the Channel Islands, which is just off between France and England. And now, my father's father, my grandfather, died when my father was 3. So I have never met another Viscount other than my own immediate family. I have never met anyone other than my brothers and sisters and, of course, my parents with the last name Viscount. My father had a couple of relatives, but to this day I have never met them. I do have a few relatives on my father's side, but have yet to meet them. As you heard in our first reading, the young boy Samuel lives and serves in the temple. He is with a priest named Eli, and in the middle of the night, God calls Samuel. And Samuel thinks that Eli is calling him. But Eli did not call him. And the author says that at the time, as God called Samuel, that Samuel did not yet know the Lord. The word of the Lord was not yet revealed to Samuel. And after the third time that God called Samuel, Eli says to him, "It must be God that is calling you. So if you hear the voice of God again, say this: 'Speak, Lord, for your servant is listening.'" Although Samuel is a friend of Eli, he is the son of Hannah. His real relationship, his true relationship, is identified through his relationship with God. The prophet Samuel will later anoint David as king, and he will unite the people of Israel as he leads them. In our gospel, Andrew brings his brother Simon to meet Jesus. And what happens? Jesus says to him, "You are Simon, son of John. You are to be called Cephas," which is translated Peter. Again, Simon is the son or the brother of Andrew, the son of John, but is in his relationship with Jesus where he finds his true identity. This new relationship with Jesus is so important that Jesus changes his name from Simon to Peter. The name Peter in Greek is Petrus. It's translated Petrus. And this is significant because as we fast forward into the ministry of Jesus, he is teaching his disciples, and he says to Peter, "Blessed are you, Simon, son of John, for you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church. I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. Peter's true identity, although a brother of Andrew and son of John, is found in his relationship with Jesus. In both cases, with Samuel and Peter, their true identity are found with God. Samuel identified as God's servant, Peter called by Jesus to lead his church. And with all Scripture, as we gather on Sunday, what we hear is really supposed to be an opportunity for take what we hear and enter into our own lives. So as we hear about the identity and the relationship that Jesus and God had with Samuel and with Peter, and in their identity, here's the question I offer you today. What is our true identity? What is our true identity? In a world today where people identify as just about anything they like, identity takes on a whole new meaning. Our identity, if rightly ordered and true, like Peter and Samuel, is found in Jesus. And if my relationship with Jesus is true and rightly ordered and primary in my life, it helps me to be a better husband, a better father, a better brother, a better neighbor, a better colleague, a better deacon. So how can we take what we've heard today and internalize and use into our own lives? Well, here's the ask for this coming week. Take some time and make a list of your key relationships. Write them down if you need to, and pray for these relationships. Pray for these people who are in your lives. God put them in your lives for a purpose. And as you examine all the key relationships in your life, be mindful of your relationship with Jesus. And where is that relationship on that list? Ask yourself, is my relationship with Jesus primary in my life? And be honest about that. Reflect on that. And if it's not, why not? What's preventing you from having that full and personal relationship with Jesus? What is stopping you from having him as your primary relationship in your life? Number one, because one thing is for certain. Having Jesus in our lives as our primary relationship improves all of our other relationships. It will make us a better person. The true identity of Peter and Samuel was in their relationship with God. God called Samuel. Jesus called Peter. And God calls each and every one of us into relationship with him. And when that relationship is primary, and it's a primary relationship in our lives, number one, it's where we find true identity. And when that happens, we may have a different answer to the question, who is your father?